You ever have one of those moments where you feel invisible, not just overlooked, but like you're actually being erased, piece by piece, by someone with just enough power to do it, and not enough empathy to care? That was me, that morning at the airport, in the stuffy, lemon-scented air of Gate 19. I was 17, nervous and excited, and trying not to show either, as I clutched my sketchbook and my dad's well-worn backpack. I'd flown solo before, sure, but first class? That was new. My dad insisted on it. "Not about luxury, honey, it's about your peace of mind," he'd said, pressing the ticket into my hand that morning before hugging me so tight I almost dropped my AirPods. I wore my favorite gray hoodie, jeans, and the cleanest sneakers I owned. I didn't want to stand out. I just wanted to make it to London and see my grandma. But you know how life works. Sometimes it drags you right into the spotlight, when all you want to do is disappear. So I settle into 2B, feeling like I'm sitting in someone else's life, just watching the crew outside through the window, sketching lines of movement with my pencil, pretending I belong. And then she appears, the flight attendant. Her name was Sandra, late 40s, perfect bun, lipstick so sharp it looked like a warning. She looks at me, at my hair, my hoodie, my skin, and I feel it. That tiny chill, that pause, too long. She checks my boarding pass twice, then leans in so close, her perfume almost chokes me. "Are you sure you're in the right seat, sweetie?" Her words are sticky, sweet like a rotten fruit. I nod, hand her my pass. She holds it to the light, looks at me again, squints like she's looking for the catch, the trick. She makes a show of checking the manifest on her tablet. I try not to fidget. She doesn't smile. She just says, "All carry-ons must go up top," and watches, like she's expecting me to argue. I don't. I tuck my sketchbook away, lift my bag, stow it, just like everyone else. She helps the older couple next to me, their smiles all warmth and welcome, then glances back my way, her eyes hard, her mouth pinched. I pretend not to notice, but it's already started. A few minutes later, she's back, loud enough for people around to hear. "Miss, I need to see your boarding pass again." There's that word again, miss, like she's calling out a student who wandered into the wrong class. I hand it over, fighting the blush crawling up my neck. I can feel eyes on me now, a man behind me lowering his newspaper, the woman across the aisle whispering to her husband. Sandra stares at my ticket, taps on her tablet, sighs so everyone can hear. "There seems to be a problem with your seat." My heart drops. "I booked this months ago," I say, voice small but firm. She shrugs, not looking at me. "You'll have to move to Economy Plus 24D. It's still a window seat." Like she's offering me a treat. I freeze, anger and humiliation burning inside, but I can't let her see it. This is my seat. I paid for it. I sound younger than I want to. Her lips go thin. "Ma'am, I need you to collect your things and move to the other seat, or I'll have to call security." "We can't have a problem here." The way she says it, problem, like I'm the problem, not her made-up conflict. The man behind me mutters, "Just move, kid." The couple next to me won't meet my eyes. I feel the heat of shame, of being the wrong kind of person in the wrong kind of place. I swallow hard, fighting tears. I ask, barely above a whisper, "Can I talk to the captain or a gate agent?" Sandra laughs, sharp and short. "Captain's busy. I'm handling this. Last chance." She's loving every second. I know if I argue, she'll call security, make me a bigger spectacle. So I stand, my hands shaking, grab my backpack. She smiles, like she's just scored a point. "Thank you for your cooperation." That's what she says, as I make the longest, slowest walk of shame down the aisle. I don't go to 24D. I head for the exit. She calls after me, "Ma'am, that's the wrong way." I don't look back. I can't. I step out onto the jet bridge, bright lights, the roar of engines, the cool silence after the humiliation. I want to scream. Instead, I call my dad. He answers on the first ring, voice steady, but I can hear the storm underneath. "What happened?" I tell him, choking out the words, fighting to stay calm. She said there was a conflict, threatened security, wouldn't let me talk to anyone, made me leave. There's a long pause. "Where are you?" he asks. I tell him. He says, "Stay put. I'm going to handle it. Don't talk to anyone." That's all. He hangs up. I stand there, shaking, watching as my plane pulls away from the gate. I'm sure it's over. Humiliation complete. My flight is gone. I'm stuck. My dad's angry. But what can he really do? For a minute, I just stand there, numb. Then, just as I'm about to move, the strangest thing happens. Out on the tarmac, there's chaos. Radios buzzing, ground crew scrambling. A jet, sleek, black, private, descends out of nowhere, lands on the active runway, and just stops. My breath catches. I know that jet. I know that logo. That's my dad. I can't believe it. He's actually blocked the main runway at the world's busiest airport. I watch, stunned, as he gets out, walks with that calm, deliberate stride I know so well, straight toward the terminal, surrounded by security and airport officials who look about as confused and terrified as I feel. People are filming. Staff are whispering. I know, in that moment, this is no longer about a boarding pass. It's about something much bigger. Inside, my old seat is still empty, but Sandra looks rattled now, faking confidence as she reassures the passengers, "Just a minor delay." But the captain's voice cracks over the intercom. "We have an obstruction on the runway. We're returning to the gate." I see the moment Sandra realizes what's happening. Her face turns white as chalk. She glances at my empty seat, at the chaos outside, at her own trembling hands. She knows she screwed up, but she doesn't know just how badly. And I'm still there, on the jet bridge, watching it all unfold. My phone buzzes. "You see that?" My dad texts. "I told you. I've got you." I almost laugh, tears finally spilling out. Relief, shock, pride, everything tangled together. Within minutes, the entire terminal is buzzing. Airport police, security, 2 managers, and the captain. All of them coming my way. Then my dad, tall, suit crisp, eyes ice cold, steps onto the jet bridge. He hugs me, then faces the crew, the managers, everyone. Sandra is there, trying to hide behind her supervisor. My dad's voice is calm, but there's steel in it. "Is this the flight attendant who removed my daughter from her seat?" he asks. Sandra tries to answer, stammering about a system discrepancy. He cuts her off. "Don't insult our intelligence. You saw a black teenager in first class. and you decided she didn't belong. There's nowhere for her to hide. The captain, who's been briefed by the gate agent, looks at Sandra with open disgust. He says, "Sandra, you're relieved of your duties. Gather your things. An escort is waiting." Sandra starts to protest, but he's done. Now. The airport manager starts apologizing, offering to upgrade me to any flight, any time. My dad doesn't raise his voice. He just looks at the room, at the crowd forming at the windows, at all the silent witnesses, and he says, "My daughter will return to her seat, 2B, and receive a personal apology. Until then, my jet stays on your runway." The message is clear. They scramble. It's almost funny, in a dark way. I get to walk back onto the plane. This time, the silence is heavy, different. Respect, fear, guilt. The guy who told me to just move stares at his shoes. The couple next to me nods, ashamed. I sit in 2B. It feels different now. Not like a seat, more like a throne I fought for. The new flight attendant greets me by name, brings me a drink before takeoff. The captain comes by to apologize, eyes full of real regret. "We will learn from this," he says. I nod. I don't need more words. The rest of the flight, I draw. The air feels lighter, but I can't shake the taste of what happened. Sandra? She's done. Fired on the spot, escorted out in front of everyone, her name trending for all the wrong reasons. By the time we land, every airline in the country knows who she is. She can't get another job, industry blacklisted, her old friends won't talk to her, her face on every headline. The company? Lawsuit filed the next day. My dad's lawyers dig up every old complaint. The press has a field day, stock tanks, and my dad ends up buying a huge stake, enough to force the CEO out, make them rewrite the rule book, fund new programs, everything. The airline bends, breaks, changes, because they know what happens when the right person gets pissed off enough. I don't celebrate. I don't throw a party. I just pack up my sketchbook and leave the airport quietly, my dad's hand on my shoulder, letting the cameras fade behind me. Sandra loses her job, her reputation, her place. The airline spends years rebuilding, never quite shakes the story. People remember. Sometimes, even when you do everything right, it takes someone stopping the world in its tracks to remind them you belong. I don't need to see Sandra again. I don't need to forgive her. The silence she left behind is enough. A reminder for everyone watching that day that dignity isn't given or taken by uniforms, money, or power. It's fought for, sometimes in the loudest, wildest ways, but most of all, in the moments when you just refuse to disappear.